How's it going, everyone? Maryland here, and I'm back on the Hermitcraft Feed the Beast server. So, whoops, I want this one. There we go. Yeah, last time I ended up building a really cool Steve's Carts tree farm and got a whole ton of wood from that. So, there was one other thing I wanted to do on top of doing some, adjustments to that. Let's see. As you can see here, it has gotten just a whole ton of stuff. It was just pumping out wood left and right. It's just crazy. Now, I have just sort of a really basic setup right now. This is really ugly, but I just wanted to make sure it would work functionally and using more or less the same things that I've already made. So nothing too new here except for this diamond transport pipe. And in order to make that, I did actually make this off camera. Sorry, I needed to just kind of do it. But it's a transport pipe, and you just take 2 diamonds and put a piece of glass between them. It gives you 8 of these transport pipes. Kind of expensive, but super useful. You can put any number of these items, well, okay, I guess it's up to 9. But let's say, see that yellow side right here? Well, this yellow side means anything that matches one of these items will go just through the yellow. So in this case, it's sending all the oak wood and spruce wood into this powered furnace, which then converts it into charcoal and sends it back into here, where it will it'll keep the thing going. But it also sends excess charcoal into these barrels. So these filters are really nice. You can add something to the filter just by either left or right clicking it, and that pretty much says what side accepts the filter. Each different direction has a different color. So for instance, this red one, if I put something there, well, obviously everything leaving this is going through the red side, so that doesn't really matter if it's going through it. It's just if something comes from a direction and you're trying to figure out where it's going, well, that's how you do it. Now, you don't actually have to place the item in, so I have 33. If I click it, I still have 33. And you can just click it to do that. It's just sort of an indicator there. Yeah, super useful. I also made this thing down here called a cargo distributor, and I don't even know how this thing works. So I was playing around with this manager, right? And you can click this to change the layout. I know in the first episode of showing this, it was all kind of like this, where all slots are shared by all sides. Well, if you click it, then each side has its own slot. So there's top left, top right, bottom left. And you can also do each color has its own slots. So any of the yellow ones have their own slots. This blue one has its own slots. And I guess that has to do with how things are being outputted. Output or something. And then this actually determines what it's kind of distributing from. So for instance, see how this wooden pipe is sticking into that green side of the cargo distributor. Well, if the cargo distributor is either on top or on bottom of this cargo manager, it will act as sort of something to extract items from or place items into the manager. So in this case, see it's on the green side? Well, that's what this one here is for. So anything from the green side, it says it should take from the top left or the top right. And that's just the items from the chests here. Either of these 2 slots it's taking from. And I guess it's probably redundant having both the blue and the yellow. There's some reason for it. I think the blue, yeah, see the blue side there? That takes in any charcoal that I burned through this powered furnace. Now I think I can actually have it set up so you don't even need to bother with the charcoal. I'm hearing that just converting it into planks with something like a sawmill is more effective than bothering to make it into charcoal. I don't know, but needless to say, I have just a ton of wood, and that's just awesome. I left this running for just a few hours, and it made way more than I'd ever need. Very cool. Okay, now if you think that's cool, there's something else I want to show you, and it's actually pretty nifty. Alright, let's check out the engine room. What do you say? Wait a sec. What? What? Whoa! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the reason I had the mini-map off. There, look at this. this is my new home. I really wanted to build something cool over the base, and you know, with that area I expanded. So this is just more aesthetically pleasing than that last one. Now, there's just a few new blocks in here. In fact, I think there's only 2 of interest. There's this glass viewer, which is actually really easy to make. You can break it and not have to worry about it. So this is just 1 piece of iron surrounded by 8 glass, and it makes this glass viewer. Looks really nice, and you don't need silk touch in order to break it. I like the look of it as opposed to normal glass. Then there's also these lights up here. These are called white fixtures. And I just wanted to have them in place so I could show you them. But basically, you need this white Lumar stuff, and then some stone slabs, and then a redstone torch. Now, there's actually different colors of these, but Lumars, you just take 1 redstone in the top left corner, 1 glowstone dust in the, not bottom right, but, you know, it's actually shapeless, so I don't know. 1 redstone, 1 glowstone, and then 2 of a dye. And that gets you 2 of these Lumars. So it's basically half a glowstone dust. Actually, it'll take a full glowstone, 2 of the dyes in order to make a fixture, because you need 2 of these Lumars in order to do that. You can make a fixture, you can make a lamp, which is more like a whole block, or you can make this cage lamp, and that uses these iron bars. Looks kind of cool. I like that for like redstone signals and stuff. Now you can make them either normal or inverted. If they're inverted, they will be on all the time and won't require a redstone signal in order to turn on and off. If you make them normal, you need to apply some sort of redstone signal in order to turn them off. So I like to make the inverted ones, and you just use a redstone torch instead of a pile of redstone in order to make that. Otherwise, the recipes are the same. Pretty cool. I love it. But yeah, this is a nice base. I'm really pleased with this. I'm not sure about these vines. I just kind of slapped them on the side there. But I'm planning on setting up machines kind of in this room, you know, in each of the different corners. Move my coal coke oven. I'll have to build up because there's not really any room underneath the stuff. But each of these walls, they're actually hollow walls. For just enough room so I can hide some cables and stuff back there, which is rather clever. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think, but I like the look of it. Anyway, today I think I'm going to get started on EU power generation with industrial craft. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's how we can make some cool tools. One thing I have my eye on is this electric jetpack. Not super expensive, but we're going to need to make some new stuff and learn some new concepts. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to get all these project tables set up with the things we'll need. I haven't cleared them from last episode, but I think we've done enough with the tree farms to get an idea of what's going on. So I'm going to go get that set up, and then we'll start building some EU stuff. Actually, I do want to tear this house down. And that brings me to one other point. What I might do, I will show tearing the house down off camera, or on camera, maybe sped up to some music. But if you're looking to move these barrels or chests, a portal gun is a great way to do it. Just press G, and then it can just kind of move them. So I'm probably going to use this to move everything back and forth. Anyway, I'm going to get this all set up, and then we can get started with some EU power generation. I think I'll save the moving everything to the new base until the end of the episode. Alright, see you in a sec. Okay, so, gonna start about as basic as we can get. Now remember all that sticky resin I've been getting and I've been telling you to save? Well, you need to cook up at least a little bit of it in order to turn it into rubber. Very important. If you have the other kind of rubber, because remember there's the sticky resin kind, and then there's this kind of rubber that looks like a little droplet thing. Well, with that, all you need to do is just smelt that directly into these rubber bars. You can't use the extractor thing. Now, those come from different types of saplings. This is the one I got, but I'm going to take some of that rubber. Now, also, you can cook iron ingots in a furnace or smelt them into refined iron, and you're going to need a lot of that stuff too. So I went ahead and made some of that, And we're going to start with the most basic of basic things, and that is a battery. So to make a battery, actually, we're going to need to make something even more basic. That's right, getting ahead of myself here. We need to make cables. Now, there's this thing called the copper cable. There's actually several different types of cables. It's not these bundled cables. It's copper cable, uninsulated copper cable, which you could do, but it could kind of zap you if you walk over it. You're much better just insulating it with some rubber here. Besides, that's what you need for recipes too. Then there's these gold cables, and these are basically what are used to transfer power. All this kind of cable stuff transfers power in different capacities. They accept different amounts of power voltages and stuff, but we're not going to get into that right now. The one you're going to want to start with is this copper cable. And in order to make that, you need 6 rubber, either kind. And, well, okay, this kind of rubber or this kind of rubber bar. You can't use just the one rubber unsmelted. And then 3 copper ingots in the middle. Oh, and I could press shift to do this. Or no, I guess it doesn't work in the project table. Weird. Let's go ahead and put a plan there. Let's take this rubber. Ding, ding, ding. And some copper. Now, either kind of copper will do. This is something I really recommend making a plan for because you're going to have to make tons of this stuff. So, we have a plan. Make some cables. That's great. Don't want to use up all the rubber right now. Let's just start with this. We're going to be needing to make a battery now. So, to make that, you just take the copper cable on top, and then 2 redstone in the middle, and then 4 tin. 2 on each side, and that makes a battery. You can feel free to make a plan for this as well. You will make them quite a bit early on, not so much later on though. I'm going to make a plan for it because I got plenty of blank plans. And let's actually make the battery. Now this can store 10,000 EU in it. Well, that's pretty cool. But how on earth do I get that EU stuff? Well, we're going to need to make something to generate EU. Let's start with the basic generator. This takes either 3 refined iron with a rechargeable battery on top and then an iron furnace, or you could use a machine block and a furnace and a battery. Now a machine block is just 8 refined iron kind of in a square like that, whereas if you just went the iron furnace route, you can make that with 5 and then a furnace. So same amount of iron either way, it's just a matter of if you want to smelt or not. Now, I actually have 2 iron furnaces over here. I don't need either of them, but I also have plenty of iron. So I'm just going to make a new one. Let's go ahead and make a furnace, and then we'll upgrade it to an iron furnace rather than waste iron. So, just like that, ta-da, got the iron furnace. Okay, cool. So, with that iron furnace, I think all we need to do is set that here. 3 refined iron, and then a battery on top. And there we have a generator. Cool. Let's test this thing out. Now again, I'm going to be moving everything in this base either at the end of the episode or the start of the next episode. So it's going to be a little messy for right now. That's fine. Don't worry about it. What is this? I don't even know, man. Alright, what this is... Oh, do I have some charcoal here? I do. You can put different things in here. In fact, if you hover over a lot of these fuel sources, you'll see it says 4K EU at 10 EU per tick. Well, energy units is what EU stands for. So this will generate a total of 4K EU. Put that in there, and this little meter charges up. That's pretty sweet. But what do I do with that? It's just going to kind of burn for a bit. Well, the generator has an internal capacity of, I think it's maybe 4K? Yeah, it's all full. It can't store too much more energy. In fact, if I put one in, it's not even going to burn it. We have to put this energy into something in order to store it. Now, we could go ahead and make another battery. And we're going to need to make a few of these anyway. So we'll start with that. You can put in this top slot a battery. And look! It charges up the battery. Well, that's pretty cool. But what is it for? Very good question. let's make something practical now, a new machine. We're going to make this thing called the extractor. And we can find this right here. It requires a machine block, an electronic circuit, and 4 tree taps. So you know how to make the machine block already, but what about this circuit? Well, it's going to take 6 copper cables, refined iron, and 2 redstone on the side. You can also flip the recipe too. This is definitely something I recommend making a plan for. Now typically you're going to need to go back and forth with making 1 copper cable set, and that gives you the 6, and then you use those 6 in a electronic circuit. You're going to have to make a ton of these over time. So really recommend making a plan for it. And let's see. I think it was 2 there and then 1 there. Yep, there we go. So yeah, these 2 things, if you make plans for those, you will be set. Electronic circuit. This is used in a lot of these EU things, in Industrial Craft and GregTech. So we need that machine block now, don't we? Let's just go ahead and use up some of this refined iron to make that machine block. Then let's put the, does it go on top? Nope, other way around. Put the machine block there, and then boom, tree tap, tree tap, tree tap, tree tap. Extractor. Well, that's pretty neat. Let's set it down right here, actually. So maybe I can show you the cable in action too. Well, this isn't going to do anything on its own right now because it doesn't have any charge. But you can take a battery and you can put the battery right in there. And then it will provide power to the extractor. So you know all that sticky resin we've got? Well, let's go ahead and take some of it and put it in here. See? As long as this lightning bolt is, as long as it's lit up, that means it's charged and it's active. As you can also see, it's depleting this EU rather quickly from that battery. I don't know exactly how much it takes to make one of those. Looks like, I don't know, probably 1,600 for each operation of this extractor. But it gives you 3 rubber instead of just smelting it inside of an iron furnace. So very, very efficient, and that's how you should be generating your rubber. Don't go ahead and just cook it. You really want to use the extractor to make it. But this battery is only going to last for a few charges, right? That's not cool. But let's check out that cable. See what we can do instead of just, putting a battery in here each time you want to charge something. You can put a cable connecting the 2 devices. So, for instance, let's take this, oops, actually let's put it back in. All right, now let's take this battery out, and it still has a little bit of internal charge. But you can see this lightning bolt running out of steam, right? Well, that's fine, but once it's out, it's not going to have anything left in its internal buffer. But, oh, you know what? We have some coal coke, don't we? Or not in here. I'll do a tank eventually, don't worry. I'm going to have to move it anyway, so. All right, coal coke is good for these generators because it makes 16K EU. So pop 2 in there, and now, see, there's no battery, but it's filling up. That's because this cable is sending the power being generated through this generator all the way over there. It is keeping some of that power in its internal buffer right here, but once that fills up all the way, it'll send all of its power right on over to this extractor. And then it'll just kind of keep doing its thing. Now, this will last for quite a bit, but it's not going to be just, never ending. You can make several generators, though, and hook them all up to kind of keep sending power. But that's a little redundant, too. And sometimes you want to have a buffer. You want to have something else to store a good amount of that energy in. So that's why we need to make this thing called a bat box. And this is basically 3 batteries with a copper cable and some wood around it. And that will store some of this energy, which can then be used as a buffer. So let's go ahead and make that. We're going to need some more copper cables. And then we're going to need, let's see, some batteries. So we have a recipe for that. Boom. I don't think, oh yeah, these do stack. Cool. 3 batteries. I think it was 3. Yeah. Nice. Now, boom, boom, boom. One of these, and just need to get some wood, which I think I have right in here. Very cool. And that makes a bat box. No, 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 bat box. All right. Man, look at this thing go. But it's already burned through one of that coal coat. So, how this bat box works, in fact, we can actually have it splitting everything up here, because this generator is generating 10 EU per tick. If we put this bat box right there, right-click it, and look, it's power level. It's rising. It must be going Super Saiyan or something. No, it's not even, well, I guess it's more than one Raditz right now, so that's all right. But it'll store up to 40,000 EU inside of this one battery box. And that's what the bat and bat box stands for. No, you don't store bats in here, don't worry. Now it's sharing the power right now between the extractor and the bat box. So that's why this is charging up a little slower than it could be. I could also put the bat box right in between these two. Now, one really important thing that you'll notice is there's this little circle right here that's only present on one side, okay? The rest of the sides do not have that circle. That circle is what outputs the power. So if I wanted to put that as sort of a medium between whatever's generating the power, such as these generators, see, it's out of energy right now, and what is consuming the power, such as this extractor, I would need to make sure that the cable is hooked up to the side with that circle on it, because all of these other sides are for inputting power to the battery box, and it only has the one output. We're going to need to make another type of wrench in order to move this stuff around. These electric wrenches are really where you want to go, but they're kind of expensive right now. We need steel plates, which we're not too far off from being able to make. But we're going to need to do some stuff first. But then we need this wrench. This basic wrench will work with basic machines. The downside is there's a chance it might break some of your machines and lose them forever. You could also use this prototype Omni wrench, and I think that works too, but it's a bit costlier and requires a cyan wool. Don't know about this one. It's bronze. Oh, I actually don't know. This is always the one I used. I think this might be for something else. But that will let you turn your machines around. And I really don't want to have to use that much bronze, but I guess we're going to have to. So let's go ahead and do that, just so we have something basic. Yeah, sort of a shame. Okay, now how does this work? Well, see that thing there? If you face a different direction and right-click, it will change the direction that little thing's facing. If you want to send it over to the opposite side, I'm going to take this cable down for a moment. You can face that and then right-click it. Oops, that's not right. Now, I know I lost whatever power was stored in there, and that's kind of a shame, but it's no big deal. You can shift-click, or hold down Shift and then right-click on the little circle, and it'll send it over to the other side. That's useful if you're trying to put it inside of a wall or something. And then you can double right-click it, and it will break the thing or pick it up. This is really important to do because if you use your pickaxe on a lot of these machines, they will break and turn into just a machine block or something. So it's really important if you're trying to take something down, do it with a wrench, or preferably an electric wrench once you get that capability. So we have some basic machines going on. We got this extractor, got this bat box. Let's just remove that thing, remove that, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So I really want to make something else fun. I want to make that jetpack. What's involved in that? Well, just some refined iron, a bat box, and 2 glowstone dust. And this thing, the advanced circuit. It's not that much more complicated to make than a normal circuit, but it does require a bit more resources. It's also a good thing to have a recipe going for. So let me, actually I got way too much gold in here. I'm using this weird kind of copper just to get rid of it. Okay, let's go ahead and make that advanced circuit. So let's first make the copper. We now have more rubber here. There. Then the electronic circuit. And then we're going to need some lapis here. So let's take a stack of that. Pop it in right there. And where's that recipe? There we go. 2 there, 2 there, and then 4 redstone on the corners. Let's make a plan for it, so we'll have it for later. And then, boom, got the advanced circuit. Very cool. Yeah, so I think all we need is just the bat box, the circuit, for refined iron, and some glowstone. Ta-da! The electric jetpack! How cool is that? Now, this goes on your armor slot, so it's kind of unfortunate. It will detract from your armor, but it'll let you fly! 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 I can't fly. That's because it has no power, silly. Okay, so we got to give this thing some juice. There's a few ways to do that, but the most... Actually, let's see. I think we could put it straight in a generator. If not, we can put it in a bat box. No, you can put it in here to use its power supply, but it doesn't actually work like that. Also, I think... Okay, so if you have a battery in your inventory, you can actually right-click that, and it will consume the battery's power to recharge your electric tools and things like that. So now I transferred all the power from the battery I had into the jetpack. That's not the most efficient way to do it. I'm just showing you that's an option. Let's try this thing out. So, to fly. Whoa, cool. Oh. Ow. I need some better boots. You know what? I know just where to get some boots. There are some really useful boots to have if you're going to be doing some flying. Because as you see, yeah, once you go up into the air, that kind of cuts into your, your height. So when you fall, you'll take damage. Otherwise, all you do is just hold in space and you'll fly up into the air. Very cool. But we want to make these things called long fall boots. And there's a long fall boot, and then there's long fall boots. I know, you actually need to make each boot separately. It's just 6 iron, 2 diamonds, and then 1 obsidian. And that makes one of the boots. So pretty much double this recipe and you'll make it. 12 iron, 4 diamond, 2 obsidian. Yeah, a little pricey on the diamond side, but so worth it. The only downside that I don't like is these don't have haste. Don't like that, but what can you do? Let's take 4 diamonds, and I'll just pop them in here. Alright. Take some iron. 2 boots. Combine them, and we get the long fall boots. Very snazzy. Now, these boots are great for adventuring, too, because they let you actually fall quite a distance without taking damage, which is very awesome. Look, I can just jump like it's going out of style. Oh, yeah, I like the top of this, too. It looks really nice. Yeah, so you can just kind of fly around with this jetpack. Very nice indeed. Woo! Oh man, this is way too awesome. Let's see. I think is there. All right, so there's this other mode you can do, and depending on your key binding, it will be a different key. I actually have mine set up slightly differently, so you can go into controls here, and it's this mode switch key. So whatever this mode switch key is set to, that lets you switch between your hover mode and your not hover mode, I guess. It's called hover mode off if it's off. I set mine to comma. I don't know why. It just seems out of the way and like it works for me. So it will be whatever it is there for you. But how that works is, see, I don't really fly quite as fast. I just kind of hover. And that's really convenient if, you just kind of want to, not have to deal with that. And also one nice thing about that is, let's say I don't have the boots. So if you have hover mode on, you'll just kind of slowly fall down, which does not induce, a lot of damage. In fact, any damage when you're falling. So that's kind of nice. You don't go super fast or anything, but actually you can kind of cruise at a pretty good pace. So much fun. And then, you can just turn it off by pressing that key again. So yeah, if you actually toggle between these two, like let's say I really wanted to go up somewhere, I can just press this, and then when I'm up to where I want to be, I can toggle hover mode on again. So learning how to do this stuff is very good. And see, I still have a little bit of charge, but we're going to need a lot more, that's for sure. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to make another bat box and some stuff really quick, and I will see you in a sec. Okay, well, gone ahead and got some more stuff set up. First of all, you can see I put some coal coke in here, and I refueled my electric jetpack. Yeah, I was trying to put that in the bottom for fuel, just needed to put it up top because I'm charging it like a battery. So that's one way you can recharge things. You can also do the same thing by putting it next to a bat box. Did I really? I didn't even make the other bat box. I said I was going to, darn it. Oh well, no big deal. Let's not worry about that right now, because you know what? There's two more machines we need to make. The basic machine you can make with this is an electric furnace. It's just an iron furnace with two redstone next to it and then an electronic circuit. It cooks stuff using EU instead of using, well, like coal or anything like that. I mean, you still need to put in coal for the generator, but I don't know. It's a way to do it with EU, so that's pretty cool. Another thing is this compressor. Now, this is a very interesting thing. If you were trying to, say, compress a whole bunch of, I don't know, your iron into an iron block, right? You might have had some difficulty with the recipe you're used to. You can't just put 9 iron into a block. You actually have to use this compressor in order to compress things into blocks. It's cool because you can take netherrack and compress 3 netherrack into nether brick, which is great. It means you don't even have to find a nether fortress if you need nether brick. It's also what you use to take this mixed metal ingot and compress that into advanced alloy. Hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to do this. We need to make this other thing called a plate bending machine. I don't want to show that today. Getting a little off track here. So let's go ahead and hook these machines up. Let's take the electric furnace there, and then oh, I got the extractor here. Now, you know what a better option might be. And again, I will be moving all of this stuff, but let's just put them all right here. Did I not pick up the other? I didn't! Oh, there we go. All right, compressor. Cool. So you can actually put input on the top. Like I could put a hopper, let's say. Oh, there's stuff in there. Go figure. I could put that into this extractor. In fact, let's just put some sticky resin there. Now, let's take that copper cable. Boom, boom, boom. And now all of these things are using up some power. They only use the power if they need to. Let's go ahead and cook. Doesn't matter what. Let's just cook this iron just to kind of see. See? Then it just cooks it. Very neat. Very neat indeed. Now sometimes it'll send stuff over like a bit. Like I think you can extract it from the bottom using pipes or something. I'm not going to play around with that right now, but that's just kind of how it works. As for this, let's see. There's actually a few different things you can use in the compressor. One nice thing you can do is put some coal in there, although only after it's been converted into stuff. So you take this coal, right, and then you make it into coal dust. Not charcoal dust, but coal dust using a pulverizer or a macerator. Oh yeah, macerator. Oh, that's something I probably won't have. What does it require? Yeah, it's a bit more expensive. Machine block or frame, 3 diamonds, and some flint. And an advanced circuit. Right. I do have the resources to make that. If you have a pulverizer, there's really no need to make the macerator unless you just want to run everything off of EU. So it's really your call. But yeah, this compressor will compress things into a block. So we could take, I'm just going to use some gold here. If you put 9 gold in, it'll slowly start compressing it into a gold block. Pretty cool. Put that hopper there. See? Nice. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Anyway, I think there's one last thing we need to do in this episode before we can really get things rolling, and that is tear down the old base. As you see, it just came right up to this, right up to the old one. So we got to start doing that. We're going to move everything in here, and It'll just look so much nicer. It'll really be so much larger, too. So, I'm going to grab my trusty pickaxe here and go to town. Oh, yeah. Let's tear the walls down. What do you say? And I'll try to speed up whatever I can and make it fun for you. Alright. Goodbye, old home. Quick here, like a lot of people have been suggesting these things called obsidian pressure plates, and they're really cool. They're really cool. I never got a chance to demonstrate those. Where did it go? Let's do pressure. Here we go. Oh, it's just it's not named obsidian. Yeah, it's just 2 obsidian blocks and it makes this pressure plate. How that works is only player characters can trigger those, so mobs and stuff can't. However, this setup with the wooden pressure plates there, it doesn't seem like anything. If you have like a wooden pressure plate and this fence here, I actually did test it out, and mobs cannot get in. So they won't recognize this as something they can step on. So really only players will go on it, unless a mob is specifically being pushed over it. But, you know, depending on your design, you might want the obsidian pressure plates instead, which can only be triggered by players. Just thought I'd pass that along. Oh man, there's the ceiling. Oh, alright, gotta get back to work, tearing it down. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. Oh, just noticed that. Okay, so these electric machines, right? Not all of them, but some of them will explode if exposed to the rain. I think all these ones are just fine. I think it's just the GregTech machines that explode if they're exposed to the rain, and this was introduced in a relatively recent update. But yeah, definitely don't just, you know, think, oh, I'll just leave all my machines out in the open. Again, I'm pretty sure these are just fine. I don't think there's an issue there, but I just wanted to caution you just in case you really start climbing up the tech tree and you do something like this where your machines and probably a lot of your other stuff would be destroyed. Yeah, not fun. Oh, one other thing I have in my inventory is this log turner. Super simple to make. just 5 sticks, and it just turns logs when you right-click. That's how I kind of made some of the cool stuff here. So yeah, anyway, back to work. Well, there we go. It's not all done yet. I still need to move this, and then I ran out of dirt, of all things. But yeah, I'm going to work on probably building an entryway here where I'll line up a whole ton of barrels and things for all my items. So it's easily accessible when I get back home. And yeah, I mean, you know, this is the future. But it's sad to see the past go. Oh man, well, I think I'm really excited about this. So I'm going to work on getting everything else moved in, get it all set up and situated. So I will see you in the next episode of Maryland's Hermitcraft Feed the Beast Adventure. See you next time, Jetpacks!